In this lesson I'm going to show you why it is sometimes better to use a VLOOKUP instead of an if formula. Now I'm going to show you an example based on age analysis. Now the general rule of thumb is that when you want to try and do too many if formulas into one, which you call a nested if formula, you can normally use a VLOOKUP, which is much easier to use and also much easier to change afterwards. So I'm going to do an aging based on an if formula. In column E we've got the number of days old, and I want to do aging in column F, and I want to build it up into this 4 categories. So we're going to do an if formula. The first one I'm going to test if that cell is less than 30, actually 31, because then it will go up to 30. Then if it is true, then the first one will be current. For better explanation of if formulas, you can go to the lesson for if formulas. Then we'll start with the next one, because that will be my false, but this will be an AND formula because there's 2 logical tests. So first we're going to test if it's more than 30 and if it's less than 61. Okay, if that happens, then it will be called 31 to 60 days. I'm going to do another if formula, but I'm just going to copy this one because it will be almost the same as the one we just did. Instead it will be 60 to 90, and if it's that, it will be called 61 to 90 days. Okay, and then everything that's false after that will be over 90 days. And there we go. So now we can just copy that down, and then we've got all the agings based on the if formula. The problem with this is it's quite a big formula. There's if formulas, there's 3 if formulas into one. If you want to explain this to somebody, it's going to take you quite a long time to do. And if you want to change the different settings, if you want to build another one, it's going to take you quite a while to do. But if I do this aging on a VLOOKUP, there's 2 ways of doing it. First, we can number the days from 0 to 90, because 90 is my biggest one. So if I can just get to 90 there, to 90, and then what we do is I'm just going to say equals the top one. Okay, then we say the first one is current, that one is 31 to that, and this one is 61 to 90. And then it's easy, we just do VLOOKUP. We're going to look for that date there, and 2 and 0. Okay, and then we just do an if error. Again, if you want to see VLOOKUPs and if errors, you can go to the lookup formulas. And if it's an error, so if it's not in our list, it will be over 90 days. Okay, so that's the second way. The third way of doing this, we can say the first one is up until 30 days, the next one is up until 60 days, 90 days, and then everything over 90 days. So we can actually do this. Let's just test this. 60, 30, 0. So the first one will be 0 to 30, because that will be, what we then do is we do a VLOOKUP, look up that, search for that, and we just, well, normally the better way of doing it is selecting the whole column. Remember, that's what we taught you in that. Okay, then we say 2, but then instead of saying 0 we say 1, which is a true, and then that should also work. And you see all of them is the same. The nice thing about this is quite easy to change. Any one of them you can change and you add new ones. So that's why normally if you want to do 2 or more, use a VLOOKUP instead of an if formula.